Welcome to SBU 67D Principles of Management 1. We're going to look at Unit 4 Planning. Specifically, we're going to focus our discussion on the formal planning process. As usual, my name is Felicia Frida Aidan Akwa. So by the end of the session, you should be able to identify and explain the steps in the formal planning process. And we want to start with looking at the formal planning process. When we're looking at the formal planning process, we're looking at the official planning process. These are more documented issues in there. And so in every organization, you know that when you're looking at formality, they should be documented. There should be something which is laid down in the organization, known to everybody. And when we're looking at the formal planning process, there is a need for us to look at for the situational analysis, alternative goals and plans, goal and plan evaluation, goal and plan selection, implementation, monitoring, and control. So by starting with the situational analysis, we need to be able to look. Don't forget that there's nothing like a one plan fits all. Once the situation changes, the plan should change. And so if you are doing any good plan, there is a need for you to critically analyze the situations at hand to be able to affect the kind of plans you go in for. There is also the need to look out for alternative goals and plans. Today, it is not just about having a plan, it is about having backups as well. That is why we have what we call contingency planning. And so you have to have potential contingency plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. Just in case this doesn't happen, then we can go into this. If this doesn't happen, we can go in for the other thing. And so alternative goals and plans also are key in there. Goal and plan evaluation. At the end of the day, we need to be able to evaluate these plans and see the goals we set as against the plans we have so far. Are we going to be able to achieve it? Is it going to be possible or not? If it happens, already, if it doesn't go well, then we need to come in and then do the controlling function of correcting those deviations. When it comes to even goal and plan selection, it is very key, because yes, we've generated you've looked at the situation, looked at what is at play. We've been able to generate alternative solutions to it. We've been able to evaluate all the solutions that, okay, if you go with this option, this is what is going to happen. If you go with this option, this is what is going to happen. Once we are done with all of this, we then need to come in and then be able to select that. Let's go with this option A first and let's see, because based on what we've evaluated, based on the loopholes, the good and the bad, the cost and the benefits, we can go with A. If A doesn't work, let's go with B. If B doesn't work, let's go with C. And based on the A we've selected, we need to implement it for us to know that this is really on point, this is good. If it's not good, we need to control it. And so as we implement, we need to be monitoring and then control it. And so in the formal planning process, it starts with, first and foremost, analyzing the situation. Then once we are done, we need to be able to develop alternative goals and plans. You don't start with just one and then you are sticking to that one. No, you need to have as many options as possible to help you in choosing. If you have one pair of shoes, how do you choose what to go out with? When you wake up, you just wear that shoe and go your way. That is the reality. And so you need to first develop alternative goals and plans, and then you look at each goal and plan critically, evaluate it, their cost and benefits, as well as their weaknesses and their strongholds or their positives, and then you can select a plan to start with, and then you implement that. And as you are implementing, you are monitoring and then controlling it as well. We want to ask ourselves, where should planning begin? Where should planning begin? Should it be from the top to the down or from the bottom to the top? Usually, planning starts at the top to the down. That is what actually happens. So we realize that usually what is supposed to be done, there's supposed to be management buy-in. And so all through the years, every time you've seen planning being done from the top, from the strategic level, then it runs down to those at the lower parts for it to be used in there. And so typically tasks completed and sent from up those who are up. There's company-wide collaboration, then we have the employee input. Then we also have the bottom-down approach, which is also something which is coming up in contemporary management, where at the end of the day, this time round, sometimes managers encourage those at the lower level to make contributions to bring things up even before they make their own strategic plans. This is because contemporary management has realized that if top management does a thing and they bring it to those at the lower level, sometimes there's resistance. People feel, after all, I'm not the one who said it. If it feels, it's not going to affect me or anything like that. But when they are all part of it, or they feel like they've contributed to it, they feel like their opinion is being heard in there, you realize that their input and then their output is always better, and so they're able to also buy it in and feel like it is their own, and they own it and they work with it. And so these days it becomes more of a blended something where there's collaboration, but usually and typically planning starts from the top and then it comes down. And so when you're looking at the top-down approach, like when it comes to managers, you realize that obviously they do the budget for the various people and teams under them, and usually the bottom up, we see that input from the down goes to the management also then uses those input to do the budgets and all those plans, and it comes down to the team. So this is about when it comes to management function of planning, when it comes to formal planning process and where it should begin. Thank you.